This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 6th day of November in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. Based on U.S. Embassy documents of renunciation of citizenship, Tourism Minister Unej Waldron was still a U.S. citizen when she was sworn in as a Member of Parliament on the 1st of September this year. In the documents provided to the National Assembly by the minister herself, her loss of U.S. citizenship was approved on the 8th of September, 7 days after she was sworn in as a Member of Parliament. But more importantly, the documents also revealed that Waldron presented herself to the U.S. Embassy's consul office on the 4th of September to renounce her U.S. citizenship, and that was 3 days after she was already sworn in as a Member of Parliament. The Constitution of Guyana prohibits the holder of dual citizenship from serving in the National Assembly. According to the U.S. Embassy documents provided to the Clerk of the National Assembly, which have since been shared with the opposition, Waldron's expatriating act was performed voluntarily with the intent to relinquish her U.S. citizenship on the 4th of September 2020 under the provisions of Section INA 349A5 of the U.S. Immigration Nationality Act. In an invited comment, U.S. Immigration Attorney Dwayne Braffett of the Braffett Law Group explained to News Source that expatriation is a voluntary surrender or abandonment of citizenship under grounds and procedures established by statute. He said based on the documents provided by the minister, her expatriation fell under INA 349A5, which states that a person who is a national of the United States, whether by birth or naturalization, shall lose his or her nationality by voluntarily performing any of the following acts with the intention of relinquishing U.S. nationality. Those acts include making a formal renunciation of nationality before a diplomatic or consular officer of the U.S. in a foreign state, in such form as may be prescribed by the Secretary of State. He said it is important to note that the loss of U.S. citizenship takes effect on the actual date of expatriation and not the date of issuance of the certificate of loss of nationality. The attorney said in essence the minister renounced her U.S. citizenship on September 4 before the U.S. consular officer. The Clerk of the National Assembly, Sherlock Isaacs, in his response to the opposition leader's request for information and a copy of the renunciation documents, stated that he sought legal advice. In the letter, the clerk said the advice confirmed that the minister voluntarily took the oath of renunciation during the month of September and lost her U.S. nationality immediately upon taking the oath. The clerk in his letter did not focus on the specific date of the renunciation. The APNU-AFC is maintaining that Ms. Waldron is unlawfully sitting in the National Assembly. According to party officials, the U.S. Embassy documents provided by the Clerk of the National Assembly have confirmed that Waldron took the oath of renunciation after she was already sworn in as a Member of Parliament. And that means that at the time of her swearing in as a Member of Parliament, she was still the holder of U.S. citizenship. The opposition intends to move to the courts on the issue if the minister does not resign or is not removed as a member of the National Assembly. More news coming up in a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
The glorious days of shopping are back at Ravinas on Water Street and Anans on Regent Street. Now in stock are over 20 beautiful designs of vinyl and over a dozen gorgeous designs in rubber tile for your homes, offices, or work. We have over 16 attractive colors of leatherette for covering furniture. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit us to get the best prices in town. That's Ravinas on Water Street and Anans on Regent Street.
We all know a strong educational foundation is a key to successful learning. Global Technology combines award-winning curriculum with innovative technology and teacher support to help students reach their potential. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how global technology can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
For all the Zoom hashouts and recipe tryouts, the world changed and we were right there, standing with you, always near, getting closer in so many ways, laughing together as we face these days. And because we are Caribbean, we've got a special insight that tells us there's no need to worry, world. We'll be all right.
Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
That's a great start powered by Yuasa Battery. Yuasa Battery is the #1 Japanese brand. It's durable, improves performance, maintenance-free, and comes with absorbent glass mat technology. Yuasa Battery, trusting starting power for over 100 years. Choose Yuasa Battery for the best battery for your vehicles. Yuasa Battery is distributed by JCA Trading Inc. Telephone number 231-9446-9.
Welcome back. Well, hours after the clerk of the National Assembly released U.S. Embassy documents which showed that the Tourism Minister Onesh Waldron was still a U.S. citizen when she was sworn in as a Member of Parliament, Vice President Barbara Jagdeo rushed to her defense. During a press conference, Mr. Jagdeo said the minister never misled the country like others did in the past when they sat in the National Assembly as dual citizens, knowing it was unconstitutional. He said the minister began the process of renunciation, but according to him, it was completed late.
I said that she approached the Americans prior to that date, and secondly, so this is it, she never signed no declaration form. She didn't mislead the country, she like every person did in the past, and then they were found to be illegal in the National Assembly when they signed that declaration form. And I said of Harman, of any person in the world should be the last person to talk about this, because had it not been Charanda's issue, then it would have never left the National Assembly. And so all right, she received the certificate on 2 days later, but she's not an American citizen. She made a great sacrifice as a person who's not in politics.
The opposition APNU-AFC is planning to move to the courts over the minister continuing to sit as a Member of Parliament when it has now been proven that when she was sworn in, she was still a U.S. citizen. The opposition believes the minister and the Speaker of the National Assembly should both face fraud charges over the issue. Guyana's High Court ruled last year that the Constitution is clear when it comes to the holder of dual citizenship not being able to sit in the National Assembly. In a statement just over a week ago, the minister stated that she began her application process for renunciation of her American citizenship in August, just after she was sworn in as a minister. She claimed that by the time she was sworn in as a member of parliament, she had already renounced her U.S. citizenship. The U.S. Embassy documents provided by the minister herself to the parliament state otherwise. The documents revealed that she took the oath to renounce her U.S. citizenship 3 days after being sworn in as a member of parliament. A Georgetown man who has been involved in the scrap metal trade for a number of years is among the persons being sought locally in connection with the 23,000-pound cocaine bust in Belgium. Guyana's Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit today announced that their investigators are looking for Georgetown resident Marlon Primo to question him about the drug shipment. Primo, according to Kanu, is listed as the shipper of the container. Kanu has already arrested the customs broker who overlooked the shipment from Guyana. He is likely to remain in custody over the weekend. The container, which was packed with scrap metal and cocaine, was shipped from Guyana in late October and tracked by the Belgian authorities until it arrived there on Wednesday, and law enforcement moved in and made the seizure. The seizure has been described as the largest overseas drug bust ever by Belgian prosecutors, who have linked the shipment to a drug gang in Belgium, which was recently dismantled. The cocaine carries a street value of just over $1 billion, which represents more than 65% of Guyana's national budget. Local investigators suspect that several persons might have been involved in the cocaine shipment and the investment in the shipment. The cocaine was packed neatly in a container behind a steel wall with old scrap metal dumped in front of it. Investigators are surprised that the cocaine was not spotted in Guyana, since the container should have gone through 2 full scans and other inspections, including during the packing. A retired customs enforcement officer told news source that once the container was sent through the scanning system, the variations on the inside would have been spotted in the scan and alarm bells should have gone off. He said the only other explanation for local agents not flagging the shipment would be that the container was not scanned at all. Investigators suspect that there might have been collusion between a number of persons at the wharf where the container was loaded onto the ship. The probe is ongoing tonight. With schools for teachers and students of Forms 4, 5, and 6 set to reopen their doors on Monday, the president of the Guyana Teachers Union, Mark Light, is hoping that there will be an agreed rotation system in place so that students and teachers are not present every day. As it is now, the Ministry of Education is allowing schools to employ their own system for reopening. Some schools have already indicated that they will put a shift and rotation system in place. The GTU president told news source this evening that the safety of students and teachers is paramount.
As you are aware, the grade 10 and 11 students, grade 10, 11, and 12, that would be 4th, 5th, and 6th formers, are the students who will be returning. And so in every school, you find that only a percentage or a small number of teachers may be teaching those levels. So first and foremost, those teachers will be required to be there. Some schools will operate a shift, but we are pushing so that the ministry can work with those schools to do a rotation, because we believe if a child comes in the morning and has to go home in the afternoon because the shift is finished, then that child is likely to be liming around with a friend or in a shop. So we believe that the rotation system would be better, and we advocate that schools adopt the rotation where they come for a day, they spend the entire day, they go home. It may not be required to come the next day, but maybe come the following day. So the rotation, in our view, would be better. But as it is presently, schools are allowed right now to adopt their own what will work for them.
Mr. Light held a virtual meeting with the Education Minister Priya Manik Chand and other education officials and union reps today. He said the GTU is satisfied with some of the systems being employed to ensure the safety of teachers and students at school.
Well, the meeting today was to look at what the ministry indicated that they will put in place, what was outstanding. So far as the care package, we believe it's a good initiative to give our teachers and the learners care packages. And we are satisfied that the teachers are getting some sort of a package that could help them to stay healthy for a period of time. And we will be working with the ministry to ensure that those packages are replenished when they are finished.
Schools in Guyana have been closed since March because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Caribbean Examination Council has been moving full steam ahead with plans for the regional examinations for next year, forcing schools across the region to start the reopening phase for those students who will have to prepare for those regional examinations. With the GPSU Cooperative Credit Union to hold its General Assembly to elect new board members soon, the Minister of Labour, Joe Hamilton, has charged the members to ensure that there is greater accountability and transparency in the work of the credit union. Speaking at the credit union's annual bursary awards, Minister Hamilton said he hopes that the GPSU's credit union will operate in a much more transparent manner moving forward.
The Ministry of Labour and the Chief Corp Officer is already instructed by me. The watchword for every credit union cooperative society is accountability and transparency. Those two words, there can be no other words that guide. When you're entrusted with overseeing people's money.
The GPSU Credit Union is one of the largest credit unions in the country. Its members, who are drawn from the public service, make monthly contributions and can access loans and special grants. Minister Hamilton further added that if there isn't much accountability and transparency, the Labour Department will ensure that there is another interim management committee to fill the void until the group of people who are in charge work to satisfy the members of the credit union.
The numbers, the zeros and the trees in the numbers, the bank account, wherever it exists, it belongs to the people. It don't belong to a selected few. They might think so, but you, the members, got to ensure they don't be.
The coronavirus pandemic in Guyana claimed 2 more lives today, taking the total number of deaths to 134. The latest victims have been identified as a 56-year-old man from Region 1 and a 58-year-old man from Region 4. The Ministry of Health has also announced that the country has recorded 64 new cases of the virus in the past 24 hours. 54 of the 64 new cases are from Region 4, which continues to see a spike in new cases. The indigenous village of St. Cuthbert's Mission in Region 4 is expected to go on a full lockdown this weekend after 58 new cases of coronavirus were recorded in that village in the past week. This evening, there are still 11 persons in the COVID-19 intensive care unit and more than 700 positive cases in home isolation. While a post-mortem examination conducted on the bodies of the couple found burned beyond recognition in their Eccles home has listed the cause of death as smoke inhalation and burns. The bodies of 34-year-old barber Leroy King and his reputed wife, 35-year-old Cindy Moses, were found after firemen responded and managed to put out the blaze at a recently constructed house in Eccles on Tuesday night. Police investigators have ruled the deaths as a murder-suicide and believe that the house was set ablaze by the husband. Moments before fire was seen in the house, neighbors overheard the two in a loud argument. Earlier the same night, they were seen in a confrontation in the yard. The government pathologist who conducted the post-mortem examination also believes that the two were alive when the fire engulfed the home. They were found in a hugging position in the house. Investigators suspect that the woman might have been attacked and left immobile just before the husband set the house on fire. Family members of the dead woman have stated that the two had been together for just over a year, and the relationship became abusive quickly. One family member said the young woman was warned about the man's threatening attitude, but she still stayed in a relationship. The man's body was identified based on a tattoo on one of his legs. The woman's body was burned completely beyond recognition. Across the Region is coming up next. Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Christmas season is here once again, and we encourage everybody to be safe. Between October 23rd and December 31st, buy your groceries and fuel from Falls, and you can win a Christmas hamper every week or your fuel purchase free. Just spend $3,000, complete the coupon, drop it in the box, and then listen for your name. And to make it even better, you can win a bumper hamper on Christmas Eve day. Yes, our prices are great, the environment is safe, and everyone wins when you shop in the Falls Christmas promotion, Land of Canaan.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has created history in the Caribbean community, leading the United Labour Party to a 5th consecutive victory in Thursday's general election. Preliminary figures released by the Electoral Office showed that the ULP had won 9 of the 15 seats in the Parliament, an increase of 3 seats on the 1-seat majority he had in the past 2 general elections. It is the first time that a political party has won 5 consecutive general elections in St. Vincent. ULP supporters celebrated the party's win. But one of the casualties of the election was Health Minister Luke Brown, who was defeated by newcomer Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble in the East Kingston constituency. The 74-year-old Ralph Gonsalves easily won his North Central Windward seat, which he has been representing since 2001, brushing aside his 2 contenders. In a message posted on his Facebook page, Gonsalves thanked voters for returning the ULP to power. Across in St. Lucia, that island has recorded nearly 900 confirmed cases of the mosquito-borne dengue fever, with health authorities warning that infections were being reported all across the island. In a statement, Medical Officer of Health Dr. Glenford Joseph noted that as of the 24th of October, the island had recorded 888 confirmed cases and 365 suspected dengue fever cases. So far, 3 persons have died from dengue fever in St. Lucia. The health official said the age range for reported cases was from 3 weeks old to 94 years old. And finally tonight, international news. Much of Italy is now in lockdown, including the densely populated northern Lombardy region, after the COVID-19 death toll for 24 hours hit 445, a 6-month record. Italy is now split into 3 zones, red for high risk, then orange and yellow. The red areas are Lombardy, Piedmont, and Asti Valley in the north and Calabria in the south. The whole country has a night curfew. In neighboring Slovenia, police clashed with violent anti-lockdown protesters. Riot police used water cannon and tear gas to disperse the crowd of several hundred persons outside the parliament. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. Have a safe weekend.